Hello everyone! Welcome back to another tutorial with JaJa Nails. Please pardon my scraped off nails at the current moment because I was picking at them like a terrible, terrible child, and I know I'm awful. I'm a terrible nail artist for it, and I apologize. So I came on today because I am showing you guys how to do the look that is on my nails on the non-torn off portions of it, and I am so stoked because we are using my new collection, and you can see three of my colors there, and the darker brown is called 70%, as in the chocolate, and then I'm also using strawberry milk. I put the lighter brown aside simply because it was packaged already and I'm making some more batches, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna like leave it. And I'm going to be putting my powder into this dish from nail. Ooh, why am I blinking so hard on this? I'm gonna link it below because I'm brain farting so hard, but it's because my nail tip that I have chosen for this will not fit into my container because it is way too long. So I'm going to be just simply doing my regular prep. And if you're doing this style on your nails, you're going to, of course, do your pushing back of the cuticles and thoroughly buffing of the nail and applying your alcohol wipe just to remove any kind of oils or particles left over on the surface of the nail. And you're going to be taking your base from your kit and covering the whole surface of the nail, unless you are going to be doing the layered look with the clear. Since this is a look with layered product, I would really suggest doing the clear for sure, just to like really ensure that you have everything sealed in, because you're otherwise going to encounter what I've been encountering, which is it's just not as secure, and it's going, your design is going to come off more easily. I just happened to run out of clear at that time and didn't have any on hand, and so I did not do it, and I am now paying the price, so I'm going to have to redo it. I'm going to do 2 layers of the pink because I want to create a really nice, secure base of pink, just to kind of really have that nice, you know, base color overall, if I say base one more time. But I'm doing my base layer, and then I'm going to be doing a little dots of brown on top. You can do these dots of brown with either light or dark brown. You can use the semi-sweet or you can use the 70%. It does not matter. They both kind of have the same results overall, and they both look hella cute, so it is okay. And once you've applied those 2 layers, I'm going to activate it very thoroughly and let it sit so that it can do its thing and harden, and we'll do all that filing and all that jazz before we apply the extra stuff. So one thing I wanted to kind of cover is that I am actually just doing the one nail, because doing a full set, it's not necessarily necessary, because as long as you understand the basic format of how it works and how to do it, then you can do it on one nail as an accent nail, on all the nails, whatever you feel like doing. So I'm just activating it here before we move on to the next step. Now, if you are a good child, unlike me, you are going to wait for it to thoroughly dry before you actually go ahead and start filing, but I am incredibly impatient. But you want to let it sit for a full 2 minutes. So this is easier when you're doing both full hands, because you're going to do all the different steps of the base powder on your one hand before, and then activating it before moving on to your other hand, because this really allows the activator to fully dry, or the bonder as I should call it, because that's what it's called on the bottle there, the bonder, before you can go back to your first hand and start filing it. So I just cleaned up my little surfaces there. I wanted to show off some of the colors, and I am going to be doing a black gel accent, because you can use, like, this is my my black, my striping polish that I can use occasionally if I decide not to go with gel, and you can get that from Sally's Beauty Supply. Well, one's like it anyway, like I think it's called Stripe Right or something from China nails or whatever it's called. But this one here is from Kokoistusa, and it's a really, really nice gel polish or gel designer polish, and I'm using the micro brush from Young Nails. It's my absolute favorite detail brush, and I'm just going to scoop a little bit of the product of the black into my little detailing cup. So this is actually meant for lash glue, and I absolutely adore it because it makes working not from a pot or a container of black so much easier, because I have it right on my finger there, easily accessible. So it's a lot easier overall to just design and just like overall move a lot faster, and it makes things a lot more efficient. You can get quite a lot of these little rings in one order, and it's so convenient, and I absolutely adore it. I did buy them originally for lash glue until I got out of doing lashes, so it works out quite well. Now, this is going to be a really, really easy part to do. We are really just going to be sketching out a bit of a French. It's like basically an outline just to indicate where we're going to be stopping with the little dots of brown. And I'm just going to kind of sketch out a spot. I always suggest picking a spot in the very middle of where you want it to be. So like find a spot in the middle of the nail, kind of where you want it to sit at the apex, and then you're going to draw out towards the sides, and you're going to make sure that you're going at a correct angle and that your sides are like at the same height, because if they're not, then you're gonna really see it and it's gonna be super obvious. So just double check your work. It doesn't have to be super cute, it doesn't have to be perfectly perfect. What's nice about gel is you can just wipe it right off. You can easily do this with polish as well, it's not a big deal. And I'm going to be taking my base coat and I'm going to wipe off almost every single bit of base I can on it, because I want my brush actually quite dry, because if you make it too liquidy when applying the dots, then I'm just going to haphazardly kind of just brush on there. So you can see I'm removing most of the glue and moving quickly, because my brush is going to dry quickly. I'm just going to put a bunch of little dots, kind of space them out, give myself some room, and make sure that they're not too close to each other. Putting that away really quickly, I'm just dipping the full nail into the powder, and that's it. It's such a quick process. You don't want to be super slow about it or it's too quick. And thankfully we had those lines that we drew at the very beginning to indicate where we need to stop, because then we're not going to go up too high. It's not going to be weird or awkward looking. And I'm just using a little bit of a tool to separate while it's still wet, because two dots kind of merge together. It truly doesn't really matter once we start putting the black on, because we're going to just draw over top of it anyway. But if you want to just kind of go that extra mile and go for it. Now, before you do the brown and the line and all that kind of stuff, you do need to do the filing, which I just didn't bother to do because the nail shape itself is pretty it's pretty okay already. So I did give it another little dip just to kind of cover the parts where the glue is peeking through. I'm going to put away my brown because I really don't need it anymore. And since that is pretty much all the way dry, I'm going to apply the bonder again to really secure it and make sure that it stays in place. I'm not slathering it on as much as I would usually with the base. I'm just really trying to just get the dots and make sure that it all stays together. If it looks a little bit dirty, don't worry too much about it. This is not a design that you have to be 100% perfection with. I mean, with a line perhaps, but when it comes to doing the dots and the cheetah design, you don't need to be. So with my little bit of gel there, I'm going to fix up my lines. And I'm just going to kind of fix it up because you don't even have to do this part. Like, if you don't want to have those lines there and you just want the cute cheetah thing going on, you can totally 100% just, while you have nothing else drawn onto the dots, just wipe those lines off and not even have those. You can just have them as a guiding line and then get rid of it if you don't want to have the French going on. I thought the black was kind of cute because it just finished it, so I just left it there and kind of finished it up and made it prettier just because I was like, whatever. if you feel like, so this is a bit of a troubleshooting issue, if you guys are feeling like you are having a hard time making your, either your polish or your gel polish stay in place because it's like spreading out weirdly and it's not creating a really nice crisp line, a really good reason for this is probably because it's working on the bare dip and it's going into all the little cracks and crevices left over from your filing, and that is a-okay. Just wipe everything off. Like if you see that starting from the beginning, don't continue on, just wipe it all the way off. And what we're gonna do, I kind of like messed up in the corner of that to fix that. What we're going to do is you're going to put the top coat, a no wipe top coat on first and give yourself that smooth surface before going back in with the brush, and you're going to go over top and do your designs and then do 2 more coats of top coat, because sometimes it needs that smooth surface before it's going to cooperate and do what you want. I like doing it beforehand because gel isn't as, you know, leaky and everything. It can be a little bit. You can see a smidgy bit on the lines there. It can be a bit spready outy, but I'm not as concerned about it. I really don't care that much. So I fixed up my little French area. So I'm going to go back in and start with the lines. You can go all the way around the dot. You can just kind of cover the sides of the dot. It really doesn't matter. So on this one, I'm just kind of, stupid little hair. And that does happen too. Like if that happens, just fish it out and keep on going. Don't worry too much about it. And the funny part is, again, I use my lash tweezers as like nail art tweezers more than I use actual regular tweezers. I know lash artists out there are like cringing so hard at me destroying their tweezers, but so I'm deciding to just kind of cover bits and pieces of it. I kind of just left the little blob that I made because it doesn't really matter. I'm going to cover it up anyway. And I'm going to kind of go around each little dot. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it's a little bit messy, that is totally a-okay, because it's not supposed to be a really, really like super perfect design, because cheetah print is meant to be kind of wild and out there. Gone over all of our little dots, we're going to be going back in and we're going to be putting in those little spaces, either little dots or little like commas or whatever you feel like putting in there. I'm like completely off screen. You're a genius, Jenica, you're a genius. And you're just going to be filling in those spots because you don't want to just leave it blank. When I first made this design, I had never done cheetah before, and I literally was like, what looks so freaking weird in this? It's because there was no little dots in between and it looked odd and I wasn't sure why, and that's why, is because it was missing little pieces. So that looks pretty good. We're going to pop that into the light for 60 seconds because you want to make sure it's cured all the way through. Some parts of the black are quite thick, so you need to make sure that's fully cured, because otherwise you're going to have bulgy bits and uncured bits underneath. And we're going to double top coat this. As I've said in most of my videos, I absolutely 100% really recommend double top coating every single design, no matter what you do. In this video, I did not top coat. Sorry, I didn't put a top coat of clear on of the powder, which I would highly recommend for this design because it can get lumpy and bumpy. So if it's for even your own sanity, but even for long-term wear, I would really highly suggest doing a clear top powder. So that is pretty much what it is. It's so quick and easy and simple, and I hope you guys got a little bit of information out of it. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer them. I'm trying to come up with a bit more of a regular schedule for uploading, so I will hopefully be seeing you guys on a specific day very, very soon. So in the meantime, guys, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!